to me.
With me, with James Rosika.
And I'm speaking kind of quietly because I've been watching the cash register here. They're selling a lot of popcorn. They also sell a lot of candies and things. And James is keeping me honest because every time that drawer opens up, I see the cash. I want cash. I don't want Venmo. I don't want some card. I want that cash.
I miss cash. I went to the pub with a friend a couple of weeks ago. Everything is contactless in the UK now. It's very rare that you see cash. And I asked the guy behind the bar, I asked him, how often do people pay with cash these days? And he told me, it's a lot more often than you'd think. He said, I reckon it's about 10%. Is what he told me. 10% of people.
That's nothing.
You never see cash here. The only reason you would have cash would be to commit crimes, I think, in the UK anymore. That's it.
Huh. I still like cash. Bought my bread with bread earlier today, if you know what I mean. And I think you do.
So we were having watched Dumb Money and having had our fill of films about money last week, we thought we would talk about financial films. But I'm gonna. So you've brought your top 5 financial films with you. But I'm gonna meet your top 5 financial films by asking you 5 trivia questions about film finance. We'll see if I can meet you one for one.
No, I like that.
Okay. You tell me what's your number 1 finance film in your list?
Let's call it the first of 5. I don't know that I'm going to do these in order.
Okay. All right.
I want to start with a couple of them we've talked about on the pod. So
okay.
That kind of thing brings us closer to our listeners, I find. So, Rafifi, 1950s French heist film that we saw, early on. I'm going to say at least a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, almost 2 years ago. Oh, my God, yes.
Where there's just this long, largely silent, dialogue-less sequence where they're breaking into the safe via getting into the neighboring building and then somehow on top of the vault and then drilling down into it quietly. It's amazing. And I just think that for me, it's smart and it seems like a much more realistic bank heist film than any of the crap we've seen coming out of Hollywood in the last 40 or 50 years.
Proper textbook filmmaking, isn't it? It's telling a story without any dialogue at all. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I clearly remember the safe in that film, which is this massive, chunky steel box, and you can absolutely read the challenge of trying to drill into this enormous box. I don't know, modern heist movies all seem to be about hacking and who can type the fastest, whereas it's nice to see, absolutely a film where stealing money involves picking up heavy things.
Yeah.
Okay, right. I'll buy that. In which case, I'm going to ask you. I've got a list here of the highest grossing films of all time, but the list has been adjusted for inflation.
Ooh.
So it may be a little bit more inclined towards older films than newer ones. So how many do you think of the top 10 highest grossing films of all time adjusted for inflation do you think you can name? I think if you get 5, you're doing well.
Oh, I'm going to get 7.
7. Oh, wow. I like your confidence.
Adjusted for inflation. So there are going to be some old ones in there and some more recent ones.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're the most... Well, no, actually, yeah, you're right. The most recent one is still pretty recent.
Although he may not be worthy of it, I think James Cameron has 2, if not 3, of the top 10.
Close, he has 1. He has 1 of the top 10, but it is very close to the top, and it's recent-ish.
Is it... It's Titanic, then.
Oh no! I misread my own list. He has got 2. It is right. Titanic is number 3.
Okay.
It made $3.4 billion if you adjust for inflation, coming out in 1997.
Original Avatar over the Way
and the
of
original
Water?
Avatar,
Okay.
is number 2.
Okay.
Making $3.8 billion if you adjust for inflation.
Okay. Then there's got to be a Star Wars in there.
There is. Yep, the original Star Wars is number 4. $3.4 billion if you adjust for inflation. That's not bad. 3 out of 10.
Okay. And then in terms of Marvel Universe films...
Yeah.
Avengers? At least 1 or 2 Avengers in there?
There is 1 Avengers Endgame. 2019, that is the most recent. If you adjust for inflation, made 3.2 billion if you adjust for inflation from 2019. So you got 4. Can you get any others?
Spider-Man?
No Spider-Man.
This is harder than I thought it was going to be.
I'll give you a clue. One is from 1939. This is the top of the list.
Ooh, that's a big year because that I think was Wizard of Oz. Gunga Din might have been in that year, and then certainly. Oh, well, I think the film is going to be Gone with the Wind.
Ah, yes, Gone with the Wind. Yeah, from 1939. If you adjust its gross income for inflation, it made $4.2 billion. That's not a record that's going to be beaten anytime soon.
No, that's big money. Are there any other old ones in there, or should
There
I be
are.
thinking-
1965, Judy Andrews
65.
singing in the Alps.
Oh my God, I love The Sound of Music.
The Sound of Music is number 6 all-time movie, $2.8 billion if you adjust for inflation.
65.
Spielberg's most successful picture.
Oh boy, I would think I want it to be Jaws, but it could be E.T.
It's E.T. Yeah, exactly. 2.8. Wow. And then the remaining 3, The Ten Commandments.
Oh God, that's old school.
1956. Dr. Zhivago.
Oh,
1965. Good to see
epic.
doctors getting in the top 10.
Yeah.
And finally, there is another Star Wars right at the bottom. Star Wars The Force Awakens, the 2015 film.
Okay.
Comes in at 2.4. Not bad. So you got 7. Well
Yeah.
done.
Thank you.
You
Thank
win.
you. Yeah.
Okay, tell me your second banking movie then.
I'm gonna keep it within the TRCC family.
Right.
I love "It's a Wonderful Life," which we watched just last Christmas time, because it's similar. It feels a little bit like Dumb Money and Trading Places in the sense that it's sort of this revenge on the big guy film. Jimmy Stewart's character comes from a family that had a building and loan association, sort of a housing finance company, something like a loaner, lender, not really a for-profit bank, and he goes up against which Barrymore is that? John Barrymore's Potter, Mr. Potter,
Right.
evil banker who owns everything, and he's a slumlord, and Jimmy Stewart ends up as the hero of the film, of course, and.
Well, Jimmy Stewart, he's like the nice banker, isn't he? He's the lovely banker. He's the banker that all bankers would like to be, I think, or would like to imagine that people thought they were, at least.
Exactly. There you go.
And also Christmas themed, like the other,
Yeah.
like the other financial movies last week.
Isn't that interesting?
It's no coincidence, I suppose, that films about money end up being released or made at Christmas.
The capitalist holiday.
Is there any connection between Christmas and money, I wonder?
Yes.
Okay, all right. In which case, I have got a list here of the 15 most expensive films ever made.
Oh, God.
Can you guess 5 of them out of 15? The odds are surely in your favour. What are the most expensive films? The films that got the most spent on them.
And these are not adjusted for inflation?
These are not adjusted for
Okay,
inflation. This
so-
is just the cash that they shelled out at the bank.
I think that Oppenheimer might be one of them.
Incredibly, no.
What?
In fact, I think Oppenheimer was relatively low budget, wasn't it? It was like 100 million or something like that.
Really?
There are 2 films from this. No, there's 3 films from this year in the list, in the top 15. But none of them is Oppenheimer.
Oh. Expensive. Ooh. This year? God, I didn't see any big budget films, did I? Oh.
We watched one of them in fact, we watched 2 of them for the pod.
Okay, I think Mission Impossible was big.
Yeah, Mission Impossible, $291 million is at number 15. Yeah.
I don't think Barbie was that expensive, was it?
No, it wasn't. Does not appear on this list.
So going back a little earlier, what else did I see this summer? It's not Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. And I'm saying that as a
Incredibly, no, they didn't spend $291 million on Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
This year, what else happened?
One of the most famous hats in his cinema history.
Oh God, really? It's the Dial of Destiny.
It is the Dial of Destiny. It was $295 million.
That was not a good investment. My God,
It was not money they're getting back. No.
Wow. All right. I need more hints. I don't. I sort of am just inherently repelled by the big budget films. I can't take them, so I don't really go and see them too many of them.
I think if you spend a lot of money on a film, you're some kind of dinosaur.
Yeah, the Jurassic films for sure.
Yeah,
a lot of CGI
absolutely.
going into it. I think obviously again we're going to see a lot of the Marvel films cost a lot of money too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Avengers films or
Exactly. Avengers Age of Ultron, $365 million.
There you go.
Avengers Endgame, $356 million. Avengers Infinity War, $325 million.
Those are the budgets?
Yeah, these are the budgets. Absolutely astonishing, isn't it? And yet they made the money back plus more.
Yeah.
Well, you've succeeded already. That's 6.
Okay.
Number 1,
Yeah.
the most expensive film of all time is, by coincidence, the 10th most profitable film of all time, if you adjust for inflation. It is Star Wars The Force Awakens. Incredibly, in 2015, they spent $447 million making that film.
Oh my God. Okay.
And they got it all back plus some.
Yeah.
What's your number 3 film?
Number 3, again, in no particular order, and not. Yeah, this is a bank heist film. I'm going to say Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Oh, yes.
Which we've not seen on the pod, but I'm sure it won't be long before we.
Yeah, we need to find an excuse.
Yeah, we'll find something to watch that. Great film about it's a Western. It's a bank heist film. It's a buddy comedy. It's a bromance. It's so good, so well written. So that one has to be on my list.
I'm embarrassed to say that I think I've seen that film only in bits, and I've never sat down and seen the whole thing from start to finish.
It's worth seeing for sure. I mean, when the copy or the edition of Adventures in the Screen Trade that I bought had the complete screenplay in there. So it's one of the first scripts I really read, I would say. Might have been the very first script.
Do you remember whether the script that they publish is very similar to the shooting script that they actually shot?
I suspect we were reading the shooting script. I'm not really sure, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't be sure. It might have been the published script, but yeah, it was because it was Goldman's book. I think it was the shooting script.
Ah, right. Okay,
Yeah, not something published.
I've been caught out before buying scripts, which end up being surprisingly different to the finished film. If you buy, I bought the script for Lost Highway, and that features all sorts of crazy stuff that does not appear in the film.
Oh yeah.
But then because it's David Lynch and because it's Lost Highway, maybe that's deliberate.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see your Butch and
Okay.
Sundance, and I'll raise you. Can you name 3 of the 10 biggest loss-making films ever? The films that lost more money than any other film.
Wow.
And I tell you one thing: a lot of these are such clunkers that you will have either never seen them or you will have erased them from your memory.
Ishtar.
Oh, incredibly, no. Yeah. Ishtar lost an enormous amount of money, but not enough to appear on this list.
Huh. Fascinating. Was it Reds? Did Reds?
I bet that also. Warren Beatty has not had a tremendously good run, has he?
I love
that. But no, Reds does not appear in the top 10 list either.
Okay.
All these films are surprisingly fairly recent.
Oh, really?
In fact, the oldest of them dates from 2012.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I'm going to need some hints on that.
So the film which has lost more money than any other film ever made is about I think it's a Victorian-era American man who ends up on the surface of Mars.
Victorian era? Ends up on the surface of Mars?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not The Martian?
It's not The Martian.
No, it's got to be Baron von Munchausen or something like that. What's the one with it?
It's a film called John Carter.
John Carter.
Yeah. Made in 2012.
Yeah.
They spent $260 million making it, and it lost about $200 million.
Jeez.
Just nobody went to see it, which is probably why you don't remember it.
Yeah, I don't remember it at all. What about Heaven's Gate? Is that on that list?
All of these films, they lost money, but not enough.
Huh.
You need to really make an incredible clunker to lose the amount of money that you need to lose to get on this list.
On that list, yeah. Huh.
There was a 2013 film about a masked Avenger and his sidekick Tonto.
That's not the Johnny Depp vehicle.
It is.
And what is it called?
The Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
Yep, from 2013, lost $190 million.
Wow.
And it was pretty terrible. It's one of the few on this list that I have seen.
I didn't see it, no. Jeez, okay. So it seems like the theme is that you have to be a more modern film that's cost a lot more to actually lose a lot.
Exactly, yeah. Right. You need to spend a lot of money to lose a lot of money. Sadly, some of these films are COVID casualties. So I'm sorry to say, I think number 6 on the list of the biggest loss-making films ever is Turning Red, which is a Pixar film from last year. They estimate that it lost $167 million, but it was just released at the wrong time, and that is an absolutely fantastic film. Dynamite.
Huh. I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah, so I mean that is worth catching up. It's terrific film. Shame it didn't find an audience. And then other films on the list: it's Mortal Engines, King Arthur: Legend of the Sword, Battleship, Jungle Cruise, Tomorrowland. All terrible, terrible films. The ones that I've seen. Tomorrowland, dreadful. So unsurprisingly, if a film has lost more money than you or I ever expect to make it 100 lifetimes. Generally, you haven't heard of them because no one went to see them.
That's amazing.
What's your number 4 film then?
Point Break.
Oh,
it's a good bank heist film where the Patrick Swayze and his band of bank robbers are infiltrated by Keanu Reeves playing a cop undercover. And what do they dress up as presidents, right? They like former presidents. They've got these masks where they go into the banks dressed up as Nixon and maybe Reagan and various presidents, and they commit bank robbery. It's fantastic. Yes. I like that film a lot.
Satire lives on. I haven't seen that film for a long time, but the only thing I can really remember about it is that there's a lot of skydiving in it, isn't there?
It's a surfing film. There might be some skydiving too, but yeah, I think of it as a surf film. It takes place in Southern California, and I think his love interest is a female surfer or his surfing instructor or something like that, and he has to become a surfer, I think, in order to mix in with Patrick Swayze and his gang.
So it's clever to make a surfing movie, isn't it? Because you know that you have to get young, attractive people taking their clothes off for many of the dramatic scenes.
Swimsuits. Yep.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like your cynicism.
Film business is a business. Speaking of business, I've got a list here of the 20 most profitable films ever as a percentage of their budget.
Oh, I love this.
So these are films that spent very little money being made.
Yeah.
But ended up raking in a huge amount of money.
Brilliant.
So the most profitable of all these 20 films made a profit of 1,286,000%
Jeez.
of its production budget. Can you name? See if you can name 5 out of the top 20 most profitable films of it all time. Any guesses?
Blair Witch Project.
Yes, fantastic. 41,000% that film made. Budget of 600,000, incredibly, but revenue of 248 million.
Jesus. How about one of those Paranormal Activity films?
Yes, that is the top film.
Is it really?
So they spent $15,000 making Paranormal Activity, and it made 193 million. So it made a return of 1,200,000% on its investment.
Wow,
that's good.
That's
any other guesses?
Well, I think there have been several Paranormal Activities and even some more Blair Witches after those. So maybe they're in there.
Yeah, but interestingly, none of those other ones appear on this list. I think because they all ended up spending more money on them once they started to get big. That was their mistake.
I want to say, I don't know if this is Little Miss Sunshine. Is that the film?
Yeah, I feel like it should do, but actually it doesn't appear on the list.
Let's see. Other things that were made on a shoestring. I'm going to need Phone a Friend.
How about a seminal horror movie made by Sam somebody?
Sam Raimi?
Yeah. What did Sam Raimi make for very little money?
He didn't make Darkman for very little money, I don't think.
What was his first movie, Sam Raimi?
It was his first film?
No, it was his first film, I think, the film that we're talking about.
Oh, God.
The Evil Something.
It's not Evil Dead. Is it Evil Dead?
It is Evil Dead. You are correct. Evil Dead.
Is it? That's with Bruce... God, what's Bruce's last name? Bruce Walker?
Bruce Campbell, isn't it? Yes. Yeah. I think Bruce Campbell's debut, Evil Dead... they spent $375,000 bucks. They made nearly $30 million. It has a return on investment of 7,000%, nearly 8,000%.
That's a good film, though. That is a very
yeah, but it is a good film, isn't it? Absolutely.
And Bruce Campbell's fantastic.
And a film which made Jamie Lee Curtis a star, having seen her last week in Trading Places.
Could be Halloween, right?
It is Halloween. They made it for $325,000, but they made $70 million. 21,000% Halloween made. So you've already got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to press you for one more guess.
Is that a breast-free film for Jamie Lee Curtis?
I think it was. Yes, I don't. I think she's wearing like a shapeless sweater for the entirety of that film.
See, you don't need to do that for the film to have success.
Exactly.
It's interesting. They've all been horror films so far, which is known as being just a great way to get into the industry if you can write a good horror script, and also just a cheap film to make. You can do it on the low budget side and huge profits. So it's interesting that these are all horror
I'm going to give you a clue on another one then. I think this is Harrison Ford's debut movie.
Not American Graffiti.
No, it is American Graffiti.
It is American Graffiti.
Absolutely.
Well, when I said not American Graffiti, I meant it ironically like, yes, of course it's American Graffiti.
Of course it's American Graffiti. I think, Spielberg spent $700,000 making American Graffiti, but he made $140 million.
Jeez.
So for a profit of 18,000%. Well done,
good.
Stephen. What is your number 5 financial film?
Dog Day Afternoon.
Oh, yes. Oh, that is set entirely in a bank, isn't it?
Yeah. Great performance from Al Pacino. It's a Sidney Lumet film, I believe, right? And just a fantastic film that goes on wonderful tangents, and just a singular performance from Al Pacino. So I think that's a great bank film, even though, I mean, there's very little talk of money, but it is sort of a social justice picture at times, and also just a hostage picture, and really well done. Love that film.
Now, you have to remind me, does he get away with the money at the end of the film, or does he not?
He does not really, no.
He does not. Oh, what a disappointment.
And he loses his buddy in the end. The cops outsmart him at the very end. But it's a good film.
There seems to be a theme emerging, which is most of your films about banking are about people robbing banks rather than putting money into banks.
I know. That's my cynicism. We both have equal doses of cynicism here today about the film and the banking industry.
Final trivia question for the night then. Okay. I've got a list here of the top 15 highest paydays for a star for one film.
Ooh.
So see whether you can guess any of the actors, and surprise, surprise, it is mostly men, but two women do appear on the list, but surprise, it's mostly men.
Oh.
Can you guess any of the people who've made the most money out of one single film, and what the film and the star is?
Tom Cruise.
Yep. Excellent. Tom Cruise. What did he make his most money from? It's a film we've talked about on the pod.
I think it's Maverick, but...
It is Maverick.
Yeah.
So Tom took home $100 million from Top Gun Maverick.
Excuse me? What?
And that's not even at the top of the list. Yeah, absolutely.
100 million. That was his
100 million.
Salary or earnings on? Did he get points?
I think he got something like 20% of the gross, something like that. Something insane.
He's a producer, an executive producer on that film as well. He's got some credits there. Wow. Woo.
Okay, that's one. Can you name any others, do you think?
Same actor? Could it be Tom Cruise again or no?
Tom Cruise again. What else did he make a lot of money on?
Probably the Mission Impossible pieces, right?
Yeah, Mission Impossible 2. It's the only Mission Impossible that appears on this list. He also made $100 million for Mission Impossible 2. Unbelievable. Yeah, absolutely.
And that all goes to the Scientologists. It's amazing.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
No wonder they have so much money. I feel like Jack Nicholson might be on there for something.
He did. Do you know what film was his big payday?
His big payday was, oh my God, it wasn't I think it was the one where he's neurotic and he's with is it Helen Hunt is the waitress who serves on him? What is that? The As Good as It Gets, isn't it?
No, sadly not. It's a considerably more comic book film than that.
Oh, it couldn't be, is it one of the Batman things?
It's Batman, yeah, exactly. Okay. So playing the Joker earned him $60 million in 1989.
Wow.
And yet he continued to work. Do you reckon you get two more from this list?
I probably could. Let's see. There's got to be another action film in there. Who's another big action star? Could be.
Who do you think made all the money from the Marvel Universe movies?
Well, I was going to say Bruce Willis, but actually I think it's as one not a Marvel guy, but how about Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. made $75 million from Avengers: Infinity War, $75 million from Iron Man 3.
One actor. That's
from Avengers: Endgame.
That's like a multi-actor film, though. They spent $75 million on one guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they based so much of their potential around him.
Wow. That's insane.
I'm going to give you the point for Bruce Willis as well, because for The Sixth Sense, he also took home $100 million.
What?
You have got your 5. I tell you, you have not got the top scorer, though.
Oh, that's really?
Yep, so somebody scored considerably more than these people.
It's not Tom Cruise. Huh.
It's somebody that you mentioned as the star of one of your favorite banking films.
Well, that would have to be Al Pacino.
It's not Al Pacino.
Oh.
It's Keanu Reeves.
What?
So Keanu Reeves was the highest paid star for one film of all time. He made The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions back to back. You count it as one film for the sake of this list.
Okay.
Off the back of that, because of its profit share, he made $156 million.
Oh my Lord.
Making him the highest paid actor for a single project of all time.
It's mind-boggling. It really is. Well, it's just funny how that explains some of these $300 million budgets, $400 million budgets, but you're blowing it on just the star. But that's who people go out to see.
They're just spending it on the star. Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, they buy tickets for it. It's a bizarre thing. You could think of how many films you could make for the $100 million you've paid one of these guys to be in a film.
Yeah, exactly. You could make Paranormal Activity literally 10,000 times over.
Exactly.
For the price of one Keanu Reeves film.
Wow. Well, this has been enlightening and depressing all at the same time.
But I think you and I need to now go away and write a film for Keanu Reeves because people are prepared to spend money on those films. So that's what we should
Preferably
do.
a horror film with a super low budget except for the salary for Keanu Reeves. That just blows the budget to hell.
Or alternatively, we could just steal the money out of the cash register over there.
Now you put my eyes back on the cash